Jeannie Fisher told me that council meeting. She said, I read that story way too long.
Well, there's two.
Hey, so I got her again with the story. Pretty good in the paper.
I was reading that. It stopped at the end of each sentence. That was really fun.
You know, what's funny is nobody questioned the one where I got demoted.
Well, you followed it up right. When you followed it up right,
Deserve it. Hey, I'll gladly go back to this meeting. Fine by me.
I'm guessing that's what it turned out.
Well, we'll call the meeting to order. We'll start out with the pledge of allegiance. Greg, you want to lead us?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Approval of the agenda.
I have 3 amendments to make. The first one, item O, needs to be moved under D, Commission Legal. Next, under H, I need to add the word in item 1, approval, and eliminate item 3.
Say that again, please.
On item 1, add the word approval of an abatement for the assessment freeze. And item 3, delete.
Move to approve as amended.
Oh, I got one more. Sorry.
Never mind, forget all that.
And then under Q, add a number 2, personnel under executive session, South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-21R1. Now we're good.
Okay.
Now I'll move to approve.
As amended. Second.
Motion by Mike, second by Mike. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same.
What is that?
It's a sound system.
Okay.
But can you do it?
Consent
Oh, yeah.
agenda.
Consent agenda, all moved to approve. Second.
Motion by Mike, second by Craig. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Okay, any conflict of interest today amongst the commissioners? Seeing none. Highway Department.
No. The commercial.
We got
commission.
Commission legal, but we got, you have to sit there for a second.
Okay, first thing up is the opt-out. We have the public hearing today for that resolution. We've read it at prior meetings, but it has to do with funding. Essentially, if no one understands or if someone doesn't understand what an opt-out is, there's a limitation on how much can be taxed, and opting out means we're opting out of the limitation to a specific amount. And so it allows us to go above that limitation to fund something. In this case, this would be something that was brought to the county by the Custer County Fire Advisory Board. And the point of obtaining this additional funding would be to provide additional equipment for our volunteer fire departments. This does not cover districts, so if it's a district, if an area has a district, then that district is not included in that, but the other fire departments in the county would be part and would benefit from this opt-out. So I will read the resolution, and then if anyone has any questions or comments, we can go from there. Attention taxpayers, notice of property tax increase of $320,000 per year for 4 years. Resolution number 2026-06. Resolution for opt-out and vote to be held for fire protection. The Custer County Board of Commissioners, hereinafter Board, as the governing board of Custer County, hereby states that the board, acting by, through, and with the guidance of the Custer County Fire Advisory Board, is unable to operate under the tax limitation measure currently in statute. We therefore opt out of such tax limitation in the amount of $320,000 per year for 4 consecutive years, starting with calendar year 2026 taxes payable in the calendar year 2027. This opt-out will be for 4 years, which will be through taxes payable in the calendar years 2027, 2028, 2029, and 2030. This action has been taken by the board and approved by at least 2/3 vote of the board. Also, be it resolved that the Custer County Board of Commissioners will conduct an election to approve or disapprove the tax levy opt-out pursuant to SDCL 10-13-36. The election will be held on June 2nd, 2026. So reads the resolution. One other just follow-up comment on that, as you may have picked up from the wording. There will be an election held on this. So with the commissioners, if they do indeed pass this resolution, it does not mean that the tax opt-out goes into effect. It will just mean that it will then go on the election, the primary election on June 2nd, and the voters that would be affected by this opt-out would then vote on it. There are 3 municipalities that fall within the area that would be the subject of the opt-out. That's Buffalo Gap, Pringle, and the city of Custer. And all of them have passed petitions or resolutions to join in having this put up for election by the voters.
I'll move to approve the resolution 2026-06.
Second.
Motion by Mark, second by Mike. Any other discussion?
Any comments from the public? Questions?
Is it going to be
All in favor, say
limited
aye.
funding just for equipment, or is this funding going to be allowed for other things?
They're gonna get us a list of what they're hoping to spend the monies on before it's distributed, if it passes and everything, so.
Okay.
There's a lot of outdated equipment that needs replaced, but every department's a little bit different, so.
Okay, I'm hearing equipment, but a
I
couple of
haven't
years
heard
ago.
equipment, and it's really, Custer Fire gets the bulk of it, 55%, right, Clinton?
It is.
And then the other departments get their 9%, which I think is right around that 28,000, 29,000 range. So you don't get much of a piece of equipment for that kind of money. So
And Custer would get how much of this?
you remember that, Clinton?
55%. So 55% of 320, I think.
Wasn't that like 178?
156,000. I know the other departments will get 28,800. Those 5 other departments, 6 departments in all.
Am I correct in saying that Custer is actually taking or looking to take less than the amount of area that they cover, pro rata, as part of this splitting up between the fire departments? Like if they went pro rata of how much area that they cover of this opt-out vicinity, they would actually be entitled to a higher amount, but they have taken a lesser amount.
If you continue to take that mill levy across their coverage area, they're still receiving less than what that mill levy should give them if they were their own district.
Yes.
So yes, they continue to receive less. This was the ambition was to compensate them for what they have been neglected for so long. This isn't necessarily only helping Custer though. This truly is helping all departments. And clarify, it could be for capital expense and it's for mainly operations, but it can be for either. So equipment isn't necessarily the total focus. It's going to be a different aspect and different things and for each department. But it can be for capital or it can be for operation.
So
We want them to spend it
buildings-
on stuff they need, and basically not just stick it in the bank and sit on it.
Well, I understand that, but I mean like, new buildings and things like that, is that gonna be included in that?
That can be.
Could be part of
That can be. The opt-out is not restricted. It's for operation and for capital as well.
I think there needs to be some clarity on that for the taxpayers to know exactly what, if we fund something like this, what it's gonna be going for. I'm a little nervous.
So there will be a public meeting May 4th here in Custer, and we can clarify those answers. I think that's up on the county website. It's going to be published in the Custer Chronicle. So for all those questions, we'll hopefully have those answers.
Well, I hope there's a lot of transparency on this.
it. The last
Transparency.
meeting was pretty transparent. It was
I
very
hope so.
informative. You were there, weren't you? Still at the Pine Room again, isn't it?
It's at the Pine Room. Yes.
So I would encourage everybody to attend the meeting because it's so.
Yeah, and certainly I don't want to, my comment about equipment or what have you is just kind of an example. I didn't mean to.
Understand. That's always the focus of every department is equipment.
Okay, we have motion on the floor. Any other comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same.
I guess do you think if we push the button on that,
We
it might-
turn it off, it'll quit.
let's try that. I would say once you,
I think it's more.
yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, I hear it ringing all the time anyways.
Just to get here.
I was gonna do it if you didn't.
It's getting loud.
Okay.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay, next up is the ambulance district for East Custer County. And we have somewhat of an update on that. There was a hiccup in the publishing of the notice, of the required notice leading up to today. Saw a gentleman in the middle who will remain nameless.
It was my fault.
This is why you need
Nameless,
to
his
mow it.
name is Jason. So we started over the publishing. It'll be in today's paper, otherwise it's being sent back to the printer, I hear.
Yep.
It will be today's.
So that we'll publish again the following week, and then we'll be on the meeting for the next meeting agenda. So we've read that resolution before. If anyone else would like to get a copy of it or look at it, at or after today's meeting, I have copies here. So if you'd like to take a look at it, but that vote will be held at the next meeting. Otherwise, everybody we have Fairburn and Hermosa, who have both signed resolutions to be part of the East Custer.
So we'll all be racing down this afternoon to get our newspapers. Gonna be record limits on sales.
That was secretly my motivation.
I have nothing else.
Okay, Jesse. Commissioners, I just wanted to give mainly updates here. There's nothing major, but just wanted to keep you informed about the projects. The Buffalo Gap Bridge replacement project has been completed and final inspection was done last Wednesday. Have to do some final paperwork to finish up the billing process, and that project is done. Work is all done.
Nice.
Really all that's left to do is for us to get some rain in the grass that they seeded to grow. So that'll never happen.
Yeah.
Might be
Next
yours.
item that we have up is the, we completed everything with the community wildfire protection plan. Everything's been gone through all of the comment process with the community and stuff. I did a presentation last night, all available on the county's website. You can look at, it's a draft form right now, but once we get the signature, everything will be updated on the website. The community wildfire protection plan will exist on the website for as long as we have it. People will be able to go on and look at that stuff when we do updates. We'll be able to do updates and it will automatically get updated on the website as well as projects are completed and as we move forward with it. So I'm going to request the commission chair signature on the Custer County wildfire protection.
So moved. Second. Motion by Mark, second by Craig. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same.
The next item is countywide burn ban. We decided to put this on as a agenda item for the meetings moving forward so that we can discuss it at every meeting. I talked with fire agencies and Clinton and some of the other fire folks as well, and told them I think we'd like to move forward with keeping it in place until we can get some more rain up, some more moisture on things. I think currently we want to keep it in place. Question come up this morning about ways that to enforce it. Our ordinance 20 is being updated for that. Is there anything in state codified law that you could find so far that the sheriff's department could actually use for?
I haven't looked at that issue
Okay,
before today.
So yeah, we can look at that, but the hope is, I think we can have everything ready with the update on ordinance 20, ready before the next commission meeting for you guys to approve the update. So sounds good. That's all I have. Thanks.
Conservation. Update on the forest report.
I'll start off with negative first. I don't like to complain, but just to update you, it started in the fall of 21 with the release and publication of notice of intent to begin the plan process. We were told it'd be 3 to 4 years to complete the whole plan division. We're still in phase 1 after 4.5 years. And we're told at this point that it probably will be December before they publish their notice of intent to be in phase 2. A lot of that's been out of their control locally, but some things steps. I don't, just to continue the negative, I don't have any updates on the proposed wilderness areas or the wilderness scenic rivers. But ultimately, that decision is going to be from DC. So, also for the LiDAR data, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the LiDAR. That's data that was flown to help them with the timber inventory. There's some delays related to tribal concerns of cultural resources. So, everyone familiar, you want me to explain LiDAR or just? No. Okay. All right. So more on the positive, things are starting to ratchet up. We've had 3 meetings in the past month or so. U.S. Forest Service has hired a facilitator, the Russell House Institute at the University of Wyoming, and I think that's helping move the process along and helping with communication. I've been involved with the Timber Growth and Yield Working Group, which is tasked with developing timber protection models. So we have an all-day meeting coming up in a few weeks on that. Which leads me into the next item. We are forming a working group to deal with species of conservation concern. And then I'm asking for input they want, for any of the cooperating agencies that want to have a representative in this working group, they want a name on it this Friday. Basically, so in the assessment, there are 150 plant species and 22 animal species that fall under this category. But they didn't get any input from the cooperating agencies. And so after getting a flag for it, they're creating this working group to work on that. But I'm told it's only going to be 3 meetings, so I'm not really sure what it is going to provide input. But I still think it's a no-brainer to appoint somebody from the county to participate. So, speaking with Commissioner Lindy, you know, I'm more than happy to do it, but if there was somebody else that you'd like to be on this working group, whoever you want, it's fine. So, I just need to make you a great person.
You'll do a good job.
Okay. All right, thank you. Well, that's all I had. Unless you want any questions.
Oh,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Auditor's office.
Okay, first on the agenda is an approval for an abatement for a property tax freeze process. Last year, Mr. Wright had filed an application for an assessment freeze. And when we were looking through the income part of it, it clearly stated he had a pension. It didn't state that was a rollover. So we asked him for a proof of that. And unfortunately, when we received that proof, it was already too late to put the assessment freeze on for this year because of the deadlines. So I think I made you guys aware of that last year, that this might be coming. So I would ask the board to abate parcel number 10914 in the amount of $2,762.42.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second
Motion by Mike, second by Mark. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same.
All right. Now, if I can get my computer on. I'm not real techy here. I'm not like Sarah. Let's see what she did here. Let's see if I can get it. I want to just, do you know how to do that, sir? To get into your. Yeah, I have an HTML. Have it. Yeah.
You gotta type it in on the other keyboard, though. Don. Yeah, gotta use that.
Well, I hope it, but I don't know if it's gonna be my computer.
You probably have to switch the input if you want your laptop up there.
Yeah. I'm gonna mess with things.
Just plug it in.
You?
There you go.
Yeah, I love smart people. Okay. So let me begin by saying I think we can see the light. While working with legislative audit for several years, fixing errors that had happened in the past, let me start by explaining what happened. Excuse me. The 1819 and 2021 audit was the worst audits in Custer County history. What happened is not that 14 million was stolen, lost, or any of the above. It simply just wasn't inputted into our general ledger. In the treasurer's office, they receive all monies that the county receives. They also issue checks for overpayments, state checks, whatever have you. Then at the end of the day, they balance receipts with the money that is counted in the banks. So that's the treasurer's office. From there, the auditor's office gets the balance sheets from the treasurer along with the receipts and checks. Those need to be audited and entered into the general ledger. This process wasn't done for nearly 3 years. We have 117 funds and countless accounts that did not balance and tie to the banks. Custer County is a cash basis only system, and the GL has to match the bank funding. With lots of hours and help with the state auditor, we went through and fixed what we found. Our annual report will be done within the next few months as Bruce comes down and helps input the correct findings into our system. This process just took over a little less than 4 years. Our 24-25 audit will be done sometime this year. Usually in the fall is when the audits are happening. But we have some negative comments, but we knew that we would, as Bruce stated that in the 2022-23 audit. Going forward, we should no longer have problems doing the annual report or the audit. Crossing my fingers. Now for today, the sins of the past are just that. I will try to explain this process the best I can without confusing everyone. We have 117 funds, but we audit the 9 majority funds because they're in our annual reports, and that's what they audit. We have the general fund, which consists of 45 departments. We have the highway fund, the building fund, ROD, MOD fund, domestic abuse, emergency management, fire protection, 911, and 24/7. The funds we receive tax dollars for are only the general, highway, building, and fire. The only fund we can use cash applied to, which means if we're short in a budget, we need cash applied, and it comes out of the general fund. That's the only account we can touch. In September of 24, we finalized and adopted the 25 budget. During the budget hearing, the Board of Commissioners received from every department their request for authority to spend. I calculate what revenues the county may get during the year. Once all things are in order, we will fill out what's called the needs of finance. We put in the expenses and revenues, and if they don't match, or where they should match, and if they don't, we need to use cash applied. Last year, we guesstimated $3,403,962 is what we are going to use for cash applied. Now, it looks better when year end comes to a head. We only needed $247,147.54. Let me see if I can explain this. So this is the end year budgets. And you see in the general fund, we budgeted for revenue $5,748,000. We actually received $7,042,000. Expenditures, we predicted $84,23. I'm right here. And final $6,692,000, giving us a surplus of $349,000, and so on. So overall, we just needed to apply the $247,000. Now, if we continue to use the cash to balance the budget, We will never have any reserves. That is something I encourage the board to look at in the next 27 budget cycle. Okay, I encourage the board to look at this next 27 budget cycle. We need to somehow close the gap between revenue and expense. Because if every department spent all of their authority, we would be looking at a cash. This is an example. If everybody spent their entire budget, we would be looking at, $2,392,000 cash transfer out of the general fund. In the next few months, as we wrap up with legislative audit, we will have a very large cash transfer from the general ledger. And this is probably the last 5 years. We will need to transfer $3,308,049.77 from the general fund to the funds, the highway fund, 1,123,000, emergency management, 204, domestic abuse, 8,719, 24/7, 52,000, and 911, 1,919,000, leaving only 4,551,000 in general fund. The general fund needs to maintain a substantial balance to support unexpected hardships that the county can face year to year. This is a condensed version and of a complicated process. If you would like to have any other further questions, I welcome you to make an appointment and come see me. I also encourage everyone to participate in the budget process. Any questions? None?
Perfect, Don. All that for nothing.
Yeah, you got some.
Yeah, when you're talking about wanting to keep a cash reserve or reserve in the general fund, what would be the suggested amount?
Well, anything over 40% of cash balance in the general fund is a surplus.
Okay.
So if at that point, they can assign funds to projects. I know there's a couple counties when Mike and I went to convention last year, one county was kind of bragging that because of their budget, they were able to put money away to a project and pay cash for it. It was a building of some sort. And I know Union County just right now has enough reserve to pay for their addition. We don't have anything right now.
So we're not gonna redo the HVAC anytime soon?
Yeah. And the only other way, is increase revenues, try to go through the expenses the best we can. Or like Craig Kendall said, opt out. We don't want, they don't
That's the
want
last
that.
thing we really want.
Yeah.
I can't even believe I brought it up.
Yeah. I mean, that's reality.
Because that would be a huge opt-out if it works.
So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
And I can't thank you enough, Don, for all that you've done. Besides, you cleaned up the mess of someone else in the past, kept everything going forward and getting it all straightened out. It was,
Thank you.
It's been a long, hard road.
yeah, it's been. And when I became a commissioner, dealing with straightening this all out at that time, it has been a learning curve and an experience to go through and learn all those past mistakes that were made and to fix them.
And it's-
we'll get there.
And it's really complicated because the stuff wasn't inputted and then you have to go through it. And the audits weren't done, if you think about it, 18, 19, 20, and 21, it was COVID years. So we were delayed in audits. And, so hopefully now we're gonna be on track. And Bruce will be down in the next couple months. He's retiring in July, but he's brought the two that are gonna replace him up to speed, and I think we're gonna be good. You know, and you can clearly see now, helps with the new system that we 10, I cuss it, but then it does clearly state on your budget reports and stuff, your overages and underages, so I like that.
And this also shows where we're looking at trying to bring everything down. So, yeah, everybody hasn't been spending their full authority, but if they did, it wouldn't be good. So we're trying to trim some of that.
Revenues are down.
Thank you for the water.
But your-
God, I got sunny
Your
stuff
question,
on.
Lee, and ideally, we could keep 40% of the budget in unassigned funds, which would be a little over $5 million. When you do get over that, we ran into this when I first became commissioner, it was a bunch of money, supposedly. We just assigned it to a fund, which we never really seemed to have a shortage of funds to assign money to, so it's getting down there, it's gonna run out if we keep heading in the direction we're going, so.
Is that when you gave the money to the water system and fire and all that?
No, that was ARPA.
That was
funds.
ARPA funds, that was federal money.
Yeah.
That was a great deal, that was a boost.
And I encourage the board to question if there's not financials in the packets. It's once a month we do that. And I'm going to start kind of spelling it out in these meetings, you know, the revenues versus expenditures and where we are in cash. So now that we know.
It was a lot easier when we know what the hell was going on. It just, right, now it's,
Yeah.
keeps me awake at night, so.
These guys have really helped too. They don't hesitate to call legislative audit, the Department of Revenue. You
Yeah,
know.
Bruce is great, he'll answer the phone all week.
Yeah.
Just lives up the
So, it's truly a group effort and everybody's.
Okay. Let's go for the elections.
Okay, I need approval to hire for the 2024 election. I need one temporary election office worker for 362 hours at $18 an hour, totaling $6,523.92. And 60 precinct election workers at $18 an hour, totaling $19,564.50. Grand total of $26,088.42.
These number of positions is primarily what we've done in the past.
Yes, we took it from the 2024 election.
To approve the motion by Mike, second by Craig, any other discussion?
And each of the cities and stuff that school that jump in, they help pay on this.
They do, we do send them. If
So the
they're on,
cost
now
gets
city will be
shared.
on.
It doesn't have an election because everybody's.
So,
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Okay, equalization. Scott.
Good morning.
Scott.
Okay. This is the only one here that screwed up, so.
Thanks, Scott.
You can just bring it up every 15 minutes. That'd be great.
Oh, this is the one that does the big payments, I guess. So this is one of those that goes back to when we were adjusting land values. It's supposed to be only in the city of Custer for commercial entities only, but this one happens alongside of that. I had my stamp last week, go back through and start checking all commercial properties outside of Custer because we're taking care of all the ones inside. This one, we're made aware of by.
Thank you.
I don't need it.
He had your sack in the back of my vehicle that I had for months and months and months. Those are worth something to you. Remember you told me I want this sack back. So
You
then
might be the first one that listened to
they've been
me.
all folded up and riding around months and months. I know. Yeah, I know, right?
I don't know if I want that. She's over there.
Yeah, really. Sure you are.
Maybe I'll just keep it.
Fertilizer, different kind of fertilizer. Not the kind you normally have.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, holy moly.
Did Trent ever get back to you?
Oh, she's she'll be fine.
I mean, there's no vacation.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Based on that.
He's over.
Oh, she's excited. Yeah.
Oh, no, there's no.
Really?
how things went.
Well, I was not going to, but you put me on the spot, Mr. Lynn. So sure, I can talk a little bit about some of the updates, but I think I know pretty much everybody here, but I'm Amber Holtz, the state senator for this area. It's good to be back from here, that's for sure. Really grateful that despite it being an election year, that we did get a lot done on the topic of property taxes. And so I was just down in Fall River County, and it seemed like a couple of the county commissioner candidates and county commissioners that were in the room there had a lot of questions about the governor's bill with SB 96 with the half-cent sales tax option. So I won't waste a lot of your time this morning, but if any of you have any questions about that or how the mechanics of that would work, I'm happy to kind of chat through that and how that bill in conjunction with SB 245 will lower the mill levy for the school portion of property tax bills. There were some questions actually last night at another meeting about, especially for districts like Custer that do get completely funded through local effort and not with state funding, how that will work when the state mill levy is lower and if they're still going to be able to collect the same amount for the school budget. And so more to come on that topic. I did propose a summer study to look into how the budgets work, the budgeting process works with state aid for education for school districts like Custer, to see if there's some updates or tweaks that need to be made given how much evaluations have gone up in certain parts of South Dakota and how stagnant they have stayed in other parts of South Dakota, which has made quite a few school districts be either in the same place as Custer or similar, to see if that disparity is still appropriate or if we need to make some tweaks to the school funding formula. Other than that, Custer County will see some changes to how we assess extra garages or outbuildings. And so people will be getting owner occupied to those extra garages, not just one garage. Your county was one of the few counties in the state that was actually doing it correctly under the law and only granting one person one garage.
Did you hear that, David?
Yeah, but it will be changed so that there's more consistency and clarity under the law. So basically, if you have any other extra structures on your property that aren't being used for commercial or agricultural purposes, they're just a part of your home, those will be classified as owner occupied, which will save you about $250 some odd per $100,000 worth of evaluation of those buildings. I had a couple other bills that don't really have to do with any county issues necessarily, but it was a very successful legislative session. Surprisingly, given some of the political dynamics that were going on with the election year, but I'm glad that we, even on the last day in the 11th hour, pulled it out. And those people that have like a typical home around $300,000 to $325,000 will see hopefully about $1,000 of property tax relief with those two bills when they go into full effect in 2028 tax year. So there'll be a little bit of a delay, so there'll be some education on that front. So it won't be just next year if the full bill for 245 goes into effect in 2028. But most people in this area should see at least $1,000 worth of tax relief, if not more than that, which will hopefully take them back to pre-2020 levels for their property tax bill.
Good. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I'd like to see a 2 cent on for 6 months. And that would really suit Custer County. And it would take care of a lot of the property tax problems. But I see Dustin Johnson has come out against any raise of sales tax, which I'm not too fond of. So I hope that doesn't occur because this, I think, is a good start. Appreciate what you've done.
Absolutely. That was one thing I pushed for. Was actually I called the governor himself and asked about if we could make it, especially for counties like Custer, instead of a half cent, an option to go all the way up to a whole cent, so that you had some wiggle room for different counties. But they thought that a half cent was the best for statewide because half cent for most counties in the middle of the state will actually produce their entire county budget, if not above and beyond what their entire county budget is. And so they'll have essentially an abolishment of county property taxes just with that half cent in certain counties across the state. So to give those people a whole cent was going to be more than they ever needed. So that was what the fit was. But in Custer County, it will still produce more than 50% of the budget. So half of your property tax bill for the county portion will actually be replaced by this half cent if you all choose to impose that. So.
I hope you're right. Really?
And I can't thank you enough for the owner occupied bill, plus also, as well, how much I pushed for the sales tax one, especially the counties, and also finding the one for the schools as well. That is a big thing, and I can't thank you enough for that.
It's all you guys do, sincerely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we go to main for the business. Where'd it go? Good. One, Joe.
I just have some updates here. The first update is the completion of the fairgrounds hail damage that we had done out there. And I did send each of you guys my quarterly report. It's in there, but for the public, for you guys, just to recap, I'll go over the numbers quick. The total project cost for all the fairgrounds steel was $243,813.17. Total out of pocket for Custer County, including the $2,500 deductible and then some unrecoverable depreciation, was our out of pocket was $4,365.81. That covered the Smith Building, restroom building, grandstands, concessions, fine arts, beef barn, and crow's nest, and the outer restroom area. There was a lot of steel that was done. The Quonset out there, I know you probably know more about it than I do from the fair board meetings, but we are given a cash value, which we've already received, for $27,133.60. If we replace the steel in Quonset, we'll get that again, that same amount, with a max payout of $54,267.20. That's the max they'll pay out. Now, Greg Negebauer, he had talked to the insurance company that whole building just gets replaced rather than putting new steel on it. They said they would pay that out. So I've been in talks with him, and he's basically wanting to know what the next step is. So he's going to get plans, and then it's going to come down to who's paying for what. You guys deciding that, but we would have the $54,000 coming in from insurance that could look towards that.
The fair board is in the process of getting people lined up to tear the Quonset down. I haven't heard how that process is coming. They had plans to do some really expensive. We'll tear it down and replace it with a different structure.
So, and then we'll get the insurance money at $54,267, but at that point then, and it sounded like he was thinking that the fair board had the money to pay out the remainder.
Yeah.
But they'll probably end up having to come and get permission anyways, and then we'll have to do a advertisement to bid and all that. And I told them I'd help with all that, but I don't know what exactly they want, so they're gonna want that.
That's pretty good, because we've been thinking about tearing that building down for a while, so that's great.
So that's that. The next one's the 1881 Courthouse Museum update. We, as a lot of people know, we ran into some complications, warranty work, and they've actually they've been working on that. They've had some changeover in staff, hiring, firing. The owner's been great. So today, actually, they're starting on final warranty work. They're hoping to complete it by Friday, if not Monday. So he's been great to work with on that. Pending insurance claims. I filed an insurance claim for the search and rescue building for hail damage, and I'm just waiting to get the final numbers back on the settlement for that. And then on the clerk of court entrance side of the building here, we lost a light pole in a windstorm. That's already been ordered, but I have a claim also waiting for final numbers on that. But we have to replace that, and that'll be at a cost of $5,450. Hopefully we can get minus 30 decibels. Hopefully we can get about half of that back. Emergency lighting project is the next one. When we had our big power outage, we realized that there's a lot of areas that were dark. Primarily down during court days, the security envelope that's created, state's attorneys, clerk of courts, courtroom, restrooms, it's dark. So I got a bid for that, and we ran it through the UJS grant. UJS grant. 75% grant match. So that's a full cost of $32,550, but out of pocket will cost us just over $8,000. And they've already got lights ordered. So that's, and then the next thing is the one that no one wants to talk about, but before I do that, we should remind everyone that Jason screwed up the finance, or the.
Nobody reads a paper anyway.
I'm so
happy we have a new joke.
This whole half building still isn't working, HVAC wise. Parts were ordered March 17th. On the 31st, they received partial order of the parts. It's just hard to get parts for these things. So we're still waiting on that. So luckily it's not too hot, it's not too cold, but we're still waiting on that. As far as the HVAC project, where they're revisiting and redoing the bid for a different system, we're still waiting on that. They're hoping by the end of the month to have us new numbers to submit to you guys.
Is there any grants available to step up on that?
We talked about that, if you wanted to hire a grant writer or this or that. From talking through the local governments or what, it sounded like there wasn't much for grants specifically to HVAC.
That's gonna be a big hit.
Yeah.
We talked about council, or Blacklist Council local governments, and they didn't have control for just low interest or no interest loans.
Yeah, but it's kind of why we stepped it down to get away from some of that, well, what the heck they call it, the reimbursement on like the chillers and stuff like that, so.
Right, yeah, under the title, I can't remember the title, yeah. But it ends up, you basically spend more hoping to get.
Spend more to get, hopefully get half
Yeah.
of it back.
So the system they're doing now, instead of a boiler chiller, it'd be a boiler and hybrid heat pumps. It'd be less piping. We'd still use a boiler for heat, but again, let's see what the numbers come back at and how you guys want to proceed. That's all I got.
Todd? Veterans Department.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
So we're up to 1,013 registered vets in the county. This is a semi-annual report, and I don't do it quarterly. I found out only the full-time VSOs sent quarterly reports, so I switched to semi-annual. Most of it is not that busy. Anyway, so October, March, through this report, we got 13,000 registered veterans. I had 1,317 veterans for appointments, teleconference, Zoom meetings. That's a little misleading because that always leads to at least a half a dozen different touch points for follow-ups and things like that. So that's a little misleading, but that's the hard number that I have registered down in my book. Got 68 claims in progress. We've had a really good 6 months. We've cleared up a lot of claims. We've only got 8 active right now. We're still waiting on disposition. 49 vets I'm working on intents to file. They've been filed, but they're veterans that I've gotten new appointments for with their medical doctor or what have you, so that we can go forward with some type of claim if there's a claim at all to be had. And I consistently carry about 8 to 11 active appeals, and that's either with the judge or some type of board appeals process. So this year we're looking at $9 million right now, currently at the annual disability income for the year, and it's slowly growing. And a couple programs out there, we had pretty good success. We distributed $150 food cards to 20 veterans in need, and one of your employees, which I'm not supposed to name the name, won the raffle on the quarter beef that was donated and ran through the American Legion, and they donated it back to me and asked me to distribute it. So 125 pounds of beef was donated and distributed to 10 different veterans. So in our Silver Center program at the nursing home, that's our first annual party. We're running that, and that was a really good success. We had about 21 residents that we were able to support. But all the residents got some type of Christmas gift, so they really enjoyed it. They enjoyed the party. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. You want to talk about it at all? Well, yeah, the biggest thing here, the first one was put in by Nick, and he isn't a Custer County resident, so that one was going to be null and void more or less because of that. But we did receive last night 2 more petitions from the people on Lakota View Road. or lane, I should say,
To our Custer County residents.
that are Custer County residents. So I would, in my opinion, we need to look at, to go through everything and look at it at the next meeting, so I would make a motion to postpone.
Motion by Mike, second by Craig. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Okay. Legal counsel.
We already took care of that.
Yeah.
We received a thank you letter from the Travis Reese family. Also received a letter from the Office of the Governor. Saying that, you know, the two bills went into law combined with results in the largest property tax in South Dakota history. The legislation gives the people in each county the option to reduce their property taxes through a 1/2-cent local option sales tax. Whether it adopted by the commissioner, referred to public vote, it puts the decision in the hands of the folks who know their community best. So he encourages us to go to BTA accounting at statesouthDakota.us for further information. Then, recognizing the county library worker for National Library Week and Workers' Day. And surface water discharge permit for their public notice.
When the meetings come up. Tomorrow night, fire service board.
We need to fix that, or who's all going?
It's been
I
posted.
won't be there, I'm going to stream clean. But it should be posted.
What time?
6 o'clock, yeah.
At the library. I'll probably be there.
That's just
Better
regular,
posted,
it's just a regular fire advisory.
Yeah, this is fire
Not
advisory.
the opt-out.
Yeah, this is, better posted just in case.
Any other meetings going?
When is spring conference, or are they having?
That is in May.
May this year.
Mhm. Yeah, appeals are at 1 PM on the 22nd. Workshop for elected officials is Wednesday the 6th and Thursday the 7th. The Black Hills Association meeting is here on the 8th, and we are leading that. So I think Craig is working with.
Should know something before the next meeting. Food situation down there at the brewery. I think the Migos are showing up sometime at the end of the month, so.
Getting all
We'll
going.
see what happens.
That's it? All right.
Meeting reports, Craig.
Yeah. FAA state meeting at the airport last week. Monday we did the election ballots, position for your name on the ballots in the election. Let's see, DOE meeting yesterday and Custer Republicans meeting last night. So.
Nick?
Had a landfill board meeting last Thursday. Nothing new there except the fences all tore down and it's gonna cost some time to fix it. What planning yesterday.
So yeah, planning yesterday at 3 o'clock.
I guess it was a fair board meeting. They're working on that Quonset deal. And they have the funds to go through the building. So I guess that's probably it for them.
For me, I went to the Duck Unlimited banquet.
That doesn't count.
It does too. Custer City Council, planning, and the Republican meetings. So you just forgot it. So I went to that too. So.
You gonna say, did you win any games?
Mackenzie did, I didn't.
Library, good job, good letter here. Planning last night.
Okay. Well, that brings us to, is there anything else that needs to be brought up?
Anything for everybody? I'll move to go into and out of executive session as per SBCL 1.5-2-3 contract and for personnel 1.5-3.
Which one?